Hello world, and welcome to Coffee and Comics. I'm Aaron.
I'm Garrett.
And today we're drinking Dragon's Roast coffee and talking all about Beta Ray Bill #1.
Yeah!
Geek Grind is a family-owned and operated coffee company with decades of experience providing quality mountain-grown Colombian coffee harvested by hand and shipped directly to your door. For over 40 years, Patrick and the rest of the Cruz family have used only natural methods to cultivate their beans, and as small community farm owners, grow their beans through sustainable measures rather than sourcing them indirectly. Geek Grind offers numerous thematic coffee blends. Their Dragon's Roast is a dark fire Arabica blend harvested at high elevation atop ancient volcanoes near the cliffs of Darien, Colombia. It is robust with the rich flavor of a good dark roast, accompanied by notes of chocolate, brown sugar, and tangerine. You can find links to Geek Grind and their Dragon's Roast coffee in the description below. And click on our affiliate link, or use our coupon code GLOBALFreak20 for 20% off your first order.
Beta Ray Bill #1 by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer came out today. Today is Wednesday the 31st today. Correct. So I've been excited about this book since I heard about it because I love these two creators.
Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer responsible for Murder Falcon.
So good. And honestly, just everything that all the work that I've seen them do is amazing. Daniel Warren Johnson, his line work and everything he does is great.
Go back and watch our very first episode if you kind of want our take on
also
Daniel Warren Johnson's
find them on Instagram.
Signature work.
Find them on Instagram, both Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. Check them out on Twitter.
We'll drop links in the description.
Awesome. Yeah. So good. Follow them. They're
so
great.
Let's talk about this comic.
So we start off with a page of just exposition, which I'm going to skip because I don't care about this. No art.
So we get a flashback sequence on this page about Beta Ray Bill when he was a little kid. He looks like a regular alien dude, not like a horse-faced alien dude. So for those of you who are wondering how it came to pass that he became a cyborg.
I have no idea. I know zero about Beta Ray Bill. I think I became aware of Beta Ray Bill when I watched Ragnarok and someone was like, "Oh, check it out, it's Beta Ray Bill." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I have no connection to this character. But because of how much I like the two creators, I'm super excited just to read about him. It's so easy going, right? Like in the first, 4 pages here, it's this slow, very methodical explanation into the character and what's going on. It's really just kind of building atmosphere. This is kind of a cool little flashback, and we get a great transition from normal face then to horse face now. My beautiful boy. Obviously not. In the background,
we've got him watching Hook.
Rufio. I'm a child of the 90s, so Rufio is the epitome of cool.
It's setting the emotional significance of this scene. The fight between Hook and Rufio took place when they were chanting in the background. It's a solo 1v1 duel.
Well, let's go past that because the book comes back around.
Okay. It's not fair. He's read the whole thing.
I've devoured this thing. I love it. It's so good. We get this great moment of seeing him lose his hammer and how that's affected him. Like that shot is beautiful. Like that just says a lot. And it echoes up here. It feels like it's in his headspace, right? Because it goes from head to head. So like,
I love how he takes this alien face and makes it expressive.
Yeah, man. One thing I love about Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer as a team is that their art is super cartoony. But it doesn't feel cartoony. It feels adult. It feels awesome. But they're not afraid to do things like throwing in a halftone for shadow. And then we fucking get to this. I'll do my best. Coming out of his little like sci-fi ship into freaking D&D land, which is Asgard, right? Soldiers of Asgard! Oh, the King in Black, his great beast is finally upon us, just beyond the gates of our beautiful home. But we have planned for this day, this giant axe. I mean, I also love barbarian dudes, so the idea of this like big muscly horse face guy with a Roman crest helmet big fucking cape and axe. I want to see this guy do stuff.
Flip the page. Black Panther ad. That's you forgave it. You said you forgave it because it's awesome. But for me, a page turn reveal is something so significant and dramatic that this page should be here. That's all. Yeah. That page should be there. Marketing, please get it right next time.
Talk to your writers and artists and ask them when to do it. Yeah. One of my favorite things about his line work is that when things are happening at speed, he does these crazy angles. This is intensity, right? The fact that this hand is like, it's got this subtle hatching on it of like speed lines. That's intensity.
He's not even breaking the format here. The grids are still very visible, but it's the way that he's angled the shot.
But this page is off. It's a full bleed, so that's weird, right?
It's my favorite style of doing things is full page with panels on top, but he still cuts the
He also designs his kaboom
as part of the art,
right? It's not on top of it.
It's not just a sound effect.
In that regard, the literal dimensions of this are like 7 inches. So if you put it on top, it's just a big kaboom. Putting it in the background like that, suddenly it's taking over the sky. It's part of this world, so it's like in the composition.
But Daniel Warren Johnson does that like
all
that's
the time.
Part of his style.
Gimmick.
You got really used to that if you read Murder Falcon. That's just the way it was drawn.
But dudes are everywhere. He hits the ground at this awful angle of intensity. Puny horse face. Look at that freaking shadow. That awesome shadow.
And then you get a 2-pager of Fing Fang.
Kneel before the might of Foom. Which, Foom is the goofiest character, but we're talking about a horse-faced barbarian fighting in the rainbow realm of Asgard against this crazy black dragon taken over by the King in Black.
I think you would call that extra. Well, if we were using Garrett's terminology, that's extra.
But the reason I like it is because it doesn't take itself seriously for the things that it's showing. I think I don't like extra stuff when it's like, look at all of my fancy things, and it takes itself very seriously. I've got black hair and fucking Null is extra in a way I don't like, right? He's like this like gothic vampire lord, is the lord of the abyss, and I've got this army of dragons, and
he's a freaking dragon in the middle of Asgard. That's kind of par for the course.
This is ridiculous, and neither the writer nor the artist, nor anybody taking part of this, thinks that this is not ridiculous, but they're pushing past that and telling us an awesome story, despite how goofy this is almost. That's the extra I like. I don't like extra when it's like an edgelord that thinks he's really cool because of all of the brooding he does on rooftops. And the writer thinks it's cool, and you as a reader should think it's cool.
But he's actually out of place given the setting and dynamic. Like in The King in Black, when we're fighting on Earth, and we're fighting against Earth's mightiest heroes, Null shows up. He's so out of place with his long white hair looking like a reject from World of Warcraft that it feels...
It's goofy.
And it feels not really juxtaposed. It feels almost at odds with the setting. Yeah. This is not at odds with the setting. This is the setting.
It's so good.
So you have a crazy dragon, but it's, like I said, par for the course. It's Asgard.
And shout out to Spicer again with his beautiful colors. Look at the sky. The sky is this great gradient, but he really pumps the texture up, and you get like these like suggestions of like these roiling clouds and these embers of flame in the air, and just even the way he lays down the color. Also, I love the fact that they have Galactus's helmet as their gates. That's awesome. Scuttlebutt, we need to pack up to me. Now, at first I was like, what the hell is Scuttlebutt? Apparently, it's his giant spaceship that follows him around, which I think is fantastic. I'm here, Beta Ray. Gauss cannons engaged, commencing assault.
Of course he's got Gauss cannons.
Yeah, of course. Look at that. That ship is just awesome.
He plays Warhammer.
Oh, God. Oh man, so good. Or was watching Gundam, right? Because that looks like a freaking like a Federation like battleship, right? I know he watches Gundam. He's freaking
he's drawing 8th MS team.
He posted some pages of that, and I was like, "You mother, so good."
It makes me mad.
And then we get all this cool fire coming and die, Black Dragon, as he's throwing himself at it. It's like
the sound effect here is incredible.
It's freaking D&D book cover. Barbarian launching through the air, about to attack a dragon. Immortal's speed lines, even on the sound effect, this just feels like such frenetic action. Oh, I love it.
This is good comic books.
And he reaches back and smashes him into the ground. The fact that it's beat by beat, easy storytelling.
Right. And it's the pacing too. Like you were mentioning that earlier, we have exceptional pacing for this because the setup is only 2 or 3 pages and the fighting is taking up the majority of this book. But the context for this fight is so well framed by that setup that he can afford to give the majority of the real estate to the conflict.
And I can only imagine that he is earning the right to have some really heavy moments with some dialogue
we're gonna
later.
have some dialogue later. He does that a lot, though.
I mean,
he does great empty panels.
I always want to
show
read
us the story.
I always want to read his words, which is wild to me because I very rarely want to read the words. I want to look at the pages, and then and then you get a huge block of text that I'm like, oh, I have to read all of that. But he makes sure that you want to read those words.
Look at that. Is that almost the same? Yeah, it's almost the same position as on the cover. You're getting that definitely
that cover promise. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Your toys are useless, horse face, and he punches the freaking thing out of the sky. And so are your walls. Look out! And it goes crashing into the Galactus helmet.
This listening to you read this, watching you read this is what comic books used to be like. It used to be an experience. It's almost like watching you play with your action figures when you were young. You know what I mean? Like, oh no! And having them fight. That's what this book captures. It captures the spirit of what it was like to read comics and play with our imagination when we were young.
So I love this. So he's breaking through the walls. He's about to freaking tear into Sif. And Beta Ray grabs his tail with his freaking meaty barbarian arms. And just freaking body slams him into the ground.
I mean, can we also acknowledge the fact that he's effectively wearing a wrestling belt?
Yeah, I mean,
he's wearing the championship belt, you know?
Straight up. If you want to come in, you'll have to get past me first. Wham! Yeah, he doesn't care.
Okay,
cool. I love horse meat. And then
you get the lightning.
Krakoon.
Yeah, that lightning. They are so good at lightning. You remember lightning in Murder Falcon? Like they were so good at their lightning effects. The way that they did the glows on the colors and the jagged lines.
And like he's just completely hit by this thing. Also, like, he's not afraid to give us tiny little look how small he is there. Yeah.
You're getting size difference. Everything
pushing in and out.
Everything's happening at different distances from the camera. Sometimes it's far away so we can see the full features of the dragon and the tiny Beta Ray to get an idea for the scale of what's going on. And at other times we're pushed way in so that we can see the action. Varying the camera position is what creates that dynamism.
And then we got to add, and I don't think it's a bad spot for it, because that was a good break in the action. We know that there's something is happening.
This isn't a dynamic page turn. Yeah. It's not necessary to go into this page. In fact, turning the page, you can look at something like that on the next page. If it was a single solid panel, like a full page spread happening on the heels of something else that's giving us that dramatic page turn, that's why I would want it on that left side. But this is perfectly fine.
And Thor shows up. I would have thought Thing Thang Foom would have been easy for you to defeat. Well, it would have been if I had my old weapon back.
Oh, snap. The smack talking is...
But I gave you every weapon in Asgard. Thor has returned. Yeah! Everyone's happy about that because, they'd rather have Thor than Bill. Thor, that was amazing! Thank you, Volkstag, old friend, for all this stuff.
For I am here!
Poor Bill, who's freaking given his entire body just to fight this dragon, just for Thor to come in and be like, zap.
I love that it's a Band-Aid on his nose.
I know, right?
It's just like, that
everywhere.
Captures, but they're Band-Aids. They're not bandages, they're Band-Aids,
Yeah, the bandages are from Asgard, the Band-Aids are all from Scuttlebutt, right? And while he's brooding about the fact that, Thor's home, Pip is like, oh man, you were great. And he's like, yeah, okay. I'm out of here, Pip. We'll see you soon. Like, as he's walking off.
He looks so sad too.
Right.
It's almost like he's basking in the glory of his favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
That he's got a relationship with, and the wrestler's like going off. He's, I'm so sad.
He gets blown off by his hero, right?
His hero, exactly.
And then
I love the white background. He's not cheating. It feels like a cheap panel without the background there, but it's actually there on purpose. It's the stark contrast to the colorful celebration. He's solitary.
And he's in his own head, right?
Exactly.
There's nothing else.
So it makes perfect sense for it to be a white panel background.
Bill, he gets interrupted. It's Sif. And we find out that they're kind of actually a thing. And they kind of hinted at it earlier because they mentioned the fact that he owes her a drink. And now it's apparently she owes him 2 drinks. So they go wandering off to have a fade to black, so to speak. But so we find out that he is unable to transform back into his humanoid form,
which he used to be able to do when he put the hammer down on the
without
ground.
his hammer.
So that's a callback to the beginning of the book where he used to be a beautiful boy, but he's now a horse-faced dude.
Right.
Odin gave him the power to transform back into his immortal form when he would stick Stormbreaker in the ground, but now he can't do that because Thor broke Stormbreaker. So there's an added layer of resentment to the fact that Thor broke his hammer.
And she's confused. She's like, "Oh, I thought at night you would change back." Oh,
what is this, Shrek?
And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he's like, "I get it. I'm not blind." Looking at his own reflection.
Oof.
And frickin' leaves, like, all dejected. And, that is just heartbreaking. And they give me a little, for more on that, see the current Prey arc of Thor.
See, I appreciate the editor's note because for those of us who are just not connected to the story but really want to be, they're letting us know that, hey, if you want to find out more about this character, the circumstances they're in, and why this is so significant, check out this thing. It used to be done all the time in comics.
Yeah, it's an old Marvel trick.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing.
That's how to make sales happen.
Yeah.
Write a good issue and then tell us if we want more of it. We could go look at this other book.
Perfect place for an ad. That's a well-placed ad.
Okay. Yeah.
Because a scene ended and now a new one starts. And then we go back to here. Will it hurt? Yes, very much, I'm afraid.
Oh, this is when he becomes a cyborg.
But allow me to introduce you to your new companion on this journey. A sentient being created and programmed to help you fight evil that torments us. I feel like this is like...
Buddy, yeah.
Its name is Scuttlebutt.
Of course.
Hello, Beta Ray. Nice to meet you. Scuttlebutt? Where are you? I see nothing. And then they kind of explain that he's actually technology that assists him and helps him on his journey. I'm like, Aaron's gonna fucking love this. Having a little robot companion.
I've always loved that.
Always got your back.
Except he's not little. He's a giant ship with Gauss cannons. I'm all about it.
I will always be here.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Scuttlebutt. Yes, Beta Ray? Prep the engines. We're leaving. Look at that shot.
He's gonna ride his chariot.
Look at
off
this
the
shot.
Sky. Yeah, it's the beautiful 2-pager. Again with the gradient and the fact that he's got space and then he's got
turquoise to pink to the beautiful grass that was drawn in.
Darker as we go to the panel 4, the page turn.
Yep. Stars, and then just you get that luscious ship where he gets to just draw this cool Federation cruiser. Bill, where are you going? Away from here, far, far away from here. So Thor basically kind of like hits him up and is like, dude, why are you leaving? And they kind of have a throwdown.
I like how he's not fully self-aware, but that's kind of the way Thor's, in my mind, always been. He's caught up in his own legend.
Yep.
So he's not really aware of what his legend does to the people around him because he's too busy experiencing himself.
How could you not know? Whenever I revel in my own victories, you're there to take the glory. Always I've been second to you. The mighty Thor casts a long shadow. I have no control of that. I am who I am. But it's you who took my hammer away, Odin's greatest gift to me. I need to find myself. I need to find Odin. I must make him forge me a new hammer, one like before, like Stormbreaker. I'm gonna make myself beautiful again. And I fucking love this.
I'm gonna do it myself.
This is a great because I see all of the problems here, and I'm like, buddy, this quest is not gonna let. I mean, like, it's a great. This whole book has been like a lead up to like now the adventure begins.
Yeah.
And it's such a good job. And I love the fact that he's on this quest, that I understand why he's doing it, but I can see already that there are some problems with this.
It's not going to work out the way that he wants. It's fraught with peril, and Thor could very easily just fix it because he has the powers of the Allfather. Yeah. But this is a quest for Beta Ray Bill to realize his self-actualization, which means, in a way, it's a kind of hubris.
This last page freaking is like an amazing gut punch of like wrapping all the threads. Back on the ship, what's playing but Hook?
Of course. What's he say?
Eat your heart out, you crinkled, wrinkled fart bag.
Oh, this is where...
You slug-eating worm. Bangarang, Rufio. Bangarang, Rufio. So all of a sudden, like, he's just listening to the part where Peter Pan is just ranking on Rufio. And Rufio, who had to build his legend up in the absence of Peter Pan,
right,
is just getting taken down several pegs, which, you know, in the context of the movie, he kind of needs to. But Beta Ray does not need to be hearing these things. And it's just cementing the fact that he hates himself. He wants to make himself better again. And our Peter Pan of Thor has returned to fucking take him down a peg. So, like, I love the fact that Beta Ray is being cast as Rufio.
Also, as you were
so
saying,
good.
It's a quest for him to realize his own power and prove himself, not really to anyone else. He's trying to prove himself to himself.
Yeah.
Spoiler for those of you who don't know, Rufio dies. So, like you said, it might not turn out well.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm in for that ride, man.
Yeah,
and look at these. He's got that catches himself
in the reflections. He's having to sit with himself, you know, the thing he's become and the desire to transform himself back. It almost feels like he's never been in charge of his own destiny, and now he desperately wants to go and claim it for himself.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And of course, we get notes and we get letters and we get all the things that let us be a part of the story.
Oh man,
pages upon pages of interview.
Next,
something that I want to read.
Yeah. Oh man, fucking Daniel Warren Johnson always hits me like right here with his books too. Like very rarely do I ever have like emotional responses to comics, but I consistently have moments where like I'm fighting back tears every time I read his shit. Oh, so good. Well done. Oh man.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications.
And tune into the frequency.
We'll see you next time. We actually got that one right.
Yeah.